Hello, and welcome to Sweet Dreams Wellness. This is Barbara Tuckett. I am the owner of Sweet Dreams Travel and a wellness travel specialist. I believe that our mind, our body, and our spirit all play into our well-being. And I create travel experiences that help improve wellness so that you return from your trip with more health, more happiness, and connection with those that you travel with. So this is a YouTube video and a podcast, and this is episode number 9. And today I am talking to Taylor, and she is a client of mine and a friend, and she just recently got back from Puerto Vallarta. So hi, Taylor.
Hi.
It's good to have you here. I'm so excited. So we're going to talk about Taylor's trip, and mostly my focus today is a lot of people really want to know what it's like to travel these days, because Taylor just barely got back, and with all the quarantine and everything, people are like scared and worried to travel. So I just thought it would be great to talk to Taylor and let her give a little insight as to how things have been for her and how safe she felt and just kind of a whole bunch of different things. So let's start with your planning process, Taylor. Kind of tell us like why you wanted to go, what you wanted to get out of it, if you had an idea like at the beginning where you wanted to go, or if that kind of evolved a little bit, just kind of lead us through that process.
Okay. So me and my husband have been married almost 9 months. We never got a chance to go on a honeymoon because I started school right after we got married. And we finally got some money pulled together to be able to. And we started thinking about where we wanted to go. And we really love Hispanic culture because both of us speak Spanish. So it was between that or maybe going to Europe. But Europe is super expensive. So I actually reached out to you and asked what you thought. And you kind of gave us some ideas. And we ended up going, choosing to go to Mexico. We went to Cancun for my birthday in November. So I was like, you know what, let's go somewhere else that I haven't seen yet. So my husband has been to Puerto Vallarta a few years back, and he really liked it. So I'm like, all right, let's try that. So we did that. I reached out to you and asked a few questions, got things started.
Yeah. So, and as I remember, you originally, like we planned this quite a while ago, and we had no idea whether Europe would even be open or not. And so as it turns out, Europe is not open yet. And so it's a really good thing, because you totally would have had to postpone your trip if, you know, if we had decided to keep with Europe.
Yeah.
So that's great. Okay. So now that we kind of got through the planning process, Taylor and Nathan decided to go to Puerto Vallarta, like she mentioned, and decided on a resort called the Iberostar. And we'll talk a little bit more in detail about the resort in a little bit, but basically it's an all-inclusive, amazing property, and we'll get into a little more of that later. But first, let's talk about your flights. I want to know like pretty much everything you can tell me about flights, like how early you got there, if the airport was crowded, were there restaurants that were open, were some of them still closed, were people all wearing masks, what was it like on the plane, all of that stuff. So just give me all the details.
All right. So the worst part about the like whole trip was the airport. Not because it was like busy or anything. We actually got there and there was hardly anyone there.
Okay.
We got there 2 hours in advance just because that's the advice for going international.
Right.
But we got through security and all of that in a matter of like 30 minutes. It wasn't bad at all.
So that was fast.
Yeah. The airport was very cleanly and very like strategic. They asked us all to wear masks, and all the workers were wearing masks. And we actually, as we got on the planes, they handed us a Clorox wipe, well, in a little bag. And then in a Ziploc bag, most of the flights gave us a little water bottle and like a thing of crackers. Other than that, they didn't offer food services or anything.
Okay.
We didn't fly more than like a few hours, so I don't think they would have anyways. But what else?
Did you notice at the airports, were the restaurants all open? Were they kind of limited? What was your feeling there?
It depended on the airport.
Okay.
So Salt Lake City and I don't know, Salt Lake City definitely had restaurants open.
Okay.
A lot of like the shopping stores were still closed, but restaurants were still open. I think it was, where did we fly to? Phoenix, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
On the way there, there was a lot of stuff open, but when we came back, most of it was closed. Like there was Wendy's open and that was it.
Okay. So pretty limited if you wanted to eat at the airport.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a word to the wise. If you're flying somewhere and you have a layover, you can't be sure that, the shops and the restaurants will be open. So make sure you bring plenty of snacks, right?
Yeah, we brought tons.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we actually heard that you had to make dinner reservations because my sister went a few weeks ago or months ago. They didn't know that, and so they didn't have dinner their first night. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna pack tons of snacks just in case. So
Right.
we're taken care of there.
Good. So that's great. Okay, so you got there, your flights were okay. Did they block out the center seats in your flights or no?
All our flights were really small, honestly.
Oh, small planes.
Yeah, so just like 2 rows.
Okay.
They kept it pretty small, but it was still pretty full. They just had people wear masks, and they made sure and announced like, hey, keep a social distance, keep your mask on the entire flight, stuff like that.
Okay. So your flights weren't like so crowded that they were overflowing, but they were, not super empty either.
Yeah.
Okay. Somewhere in between. All right. Okay. So flights was kind of the worst part of it. Sometimes I think that's always the worst part, right? Just because you have to sit in airplanes and sit in airports and go through security and all that. But so you get there, and what was the shuttle like getting you to the resort? Did that feel clean? Did it feel safe? Did it feel, you've been to all-inclusive resorts before. Did it feel any different or not?
It was definitely very clean. We got there, and our company or the people that were trying to find us immediately found us, and they told us like, don't talk to any of the like people trying to sell you stuff, like timeshare and stuff. And they got us in the van going. We were the only ones in the van beside the driver. It was very clean. I'm pretty sure they cleaned it in between every ride. And we got to the resort pretty fast too.
Good. So that was a good experience. And then, so let's talk about the Iberostar and why did you want to stay there and what was it like, and just kind of give us some ideas on that.
Okay. Well, I like Iberostar because we stayed there in Cancun and it was gorgeous and I loved it there. They were very hospitable. So I was like, let's do it again. And it was one of the cheaper options. So it's like,
it was a good option.
Yeah. So when we got there, the first thing they had us do was step on this, like, it was like a mat thing that was supposed to clean your feet, and put on hand sanitizer and took our temperatures.
That's great, because then like you were feeling safe right from the minute you got there, right?
Yeah. Then I think they asked us, they gave us a sheet on the plane. I forgot to say this, but it asked like if you had been in contact with COVID or anything.
Oh, right.
On the way back as well. Too.
Okay.
But yeah, it was really clean there. Like I saw cleaning crews everywhere, and everyone was wearing masks, and like everyone had like cleaner, and they were cleaning everything.
So you felt really secure and safe at the property just for how nice and I guess sanitized everything was.
Yeah. And then the only thing they weren't super strict on wearing the mask because it was mostly open.
Right.
But when you went into the restaurants, they had you wear a mask, and then you could take it off while you were eating. So like in the restaurant and stores, they had a few stores too.
Okay. So you mostly were just wearing masks anytime you were inside, but other than that, which is, I think, what you would expect at an all-inclusive resort. And that's probably one of the great things about going to an all-inclusive, because you can, really easily just kind of stay by yourself and be outside and be on your own a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
That was interesting too, because there weren't a lot of Americans. There was mostly like locals, so it wasn't even that busy.
oh, so see, that is interesting, because a lot of people aren't even starting to travel yet very much. So it's probably a great time to go.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
how were the beaches there as far as just Puerto Vallarta compared to Cancun? Obviously, it's a different location. Cancun is Caribbean and Puerto Vallarta is more on the Pacific side. So, that's a little different. But what did you think about that?
So the actual beach the water was really warm, like really warm, almost as hot as like the temperature outside.
Wow.
Um, and then there wasn't a ton of people. They actually told us the beach was technically closed, but we could still go on it if we wanted to, for like government regulations.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't a ton of people out there, and there was some vendors out trying to sell stuff.
Right.
Not a ton of people. So
So it was nice and relaxing. And did they still have the beach chairs and everything for you to use?
they did not have the beach chairs because
Okay.
technically it was closed, so they just
Right.
took them out. But
Okay. But you could take your towel down there and just
Mhm.
relax on the beach.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. What about the pool? Were the pools open and everything there?
Yeah, so I think everything was open except for like the scuba rental and all that.
Okay.
So all the pools were open. They had the bars open, the restaurants. They had a show every night that was like they did a Kahoot and then they did like a musical or something. The pools were very clean too. Everything was like they were very good at keeping on top of things.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So that's great. Okay. So just as far as the resort, let's kind of wrap up like just kind of our section about the resort. What was like your favorite part or a couple of favorite parts about the resort? Did you have particular restaurants you liked, or did you like, anything specifically at the resort that you would recommend if somebody was going there?
If you're going for a specific reason, tell them because they upgraded our room because it was our honeymoon.
Sweet.
Yeah. My personal favorite restaurant was I can't remember what it was called, but it was more of an American based food.
Okay.
It was right by the pool, so it was really good. I also liked the Japanese restaurant. It was kind of like what do they call it? Where they cook their food in front of
Oh,
you.
teppanyaki.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
teppanyaki style.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
was
fun.
very fun. And you had to schedule the dinners, and the seating was like very limited. Like they didn't fill up the whole restaurant. It was like
Okay.
every
So they were
other.
good at distancing with that. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Let's see. I was going to ask you something else about the restaurants. It'll come back to me if it was important. I'll remember it later. Okay. So let's go on to excursions and any fun things that you did, like in Puerto Vallarta or in the area around. So what would you recommend, or what did you do that was fun?
Actually, we did a lot of stuff.
Hey.
We had pretty much every day full. So the first day we did the outdoor excursion where we went zip lining, rappelling. They even added like a roller coaster type thing. It was like a metal thing. It's hard to explain, but that was so fun. It's
Fun.
probably my
Fun.
favorite.
That sounds like a great day.
Yeah. And that took up pretty much the whole day. It was so cool because it was in the middle of the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like it. And then Tuesday we went on just a tour of the city. I didn't like that one as much because they didn't give us a lot of time to like shop or anything. We just kind of went from place to place. Like the longest part was the tequila tasting. I'm like, okay, we don't drink, so let's just go explore.
Right. So with that one, was that like a walking tour, or did they drive you to places, or how did that work?
It was both. So they picked us all up from the resorts,
Mm-hmm.
and we would stop at different places and get out. Like, we went to downtown, and there was a sign that said Puerto Vallarta, like a little town square, and we got out and walked around there. We went to a jewelry shop, a tequila tasting. We went to a leather shop. Puerto Vallarta is known for its leather and glass making, so we stopped in a few stores there. And then at the end, he took us to a restaurant for authentic food.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. So, okay, so that was that day. What else did you do besides the city tour?
Sorry, that's my Alexa.
No worries. No
Okay, what
worries.
was the question?
It's all good. What else besides the zip lining and stuff and the city tour did you do?
What else? So we had a few days where we just kind of stayed and swam with the pool, like in
Mm-hmm.
the pools, and did like volleyball with a bunch of drunk Hispanics. That was so funny. That was awesome. And then another one we did was we swam with dolphins and sea lions.
Oh, so fun.
Yeah, that was really fun. That one it was just four of us, so like us two, and then like a mom and a son.
Mm-hmm.
So they kept it very small, very like, social
Easy
distance.
to manage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really fun.
That's good. That's good. So, anything else that you did off the property, or was everything else pretty much just enjoying being at the resort?
Yeah, I think the rest was just at the resort.
So fun. So fun. That's awesome. Okay, so just kind of to sum it all up, were you glad you went when you did? I know a little bit before you left, we kind of had some questions, and you were saying, what if we put it off a little bit, or what if we went a little later? And we kind of had that conversation. So just kind of give me your thoughts on that. Are you glad you went when you did, or do you wish you had waited for any reason?
Yeah, I'm definitely glad we went. It was a very nice time and very like calm. It happened to be the week before Mexico's Independence Day, so they had a ton of celebrations going on,
Mm-hmm.
and there wasn't a lot of tourism, so that was nice.
Yeah, because it didn't feel super crowded, and that's great. And the weather?
Yeah.
The weather was good?
Yeah, perfect every day. Just a little advice: if anyone goes and it says it's going to rain the whole time, still go. Don't cancel the trip, because it said that for us, and it rained twice. That's it.
Well, and even when it does rain, it's usually not like raining all the time. It's usually more just like just a little bit of rain, and then it clears up, right?
Yeah, like it rained a lot at night, but not during the day. Like I think it only did it a few times during the day, and it was only like sprinkling.
Mm-hmm. And you can still pretty much do everything, even if there is a little sprinkle. So.
Yeah, it actually feels good because it's so humid.
Right, right. That's true. Okay. So I guess just some final thoughts. Is there anything you would do differently if you were going again, or things you would for sure do, or anything? Just kind of wrap up, summarize stuff for us.
Probably do everything the same, honestly. Like everything was planned out perfectly.
Good.
Can't think of anything.
Good. So.
Actually, I do have advice.
Okay.
Don't fly with American Airlines.
Yeah.
They were pretty strict on some stuff. I don't know. But anyways.
Like what? What did you find with them?
There was just this one flight attendant who was very ornery that day. And we had our masks pulled down for a few minutes just because we were doing some stuff, and she like got on the intercom and reminded us like 5 times, like, put on the mask, I'm not going to tell you again.
Wow.
Sorry.
So you felt like you were like 3 years old, and she was getting on your case.
Yeah, that might have been just like the person that day, but who knows?
Yeah. Still, it doesn't leave a really great taste in your mouth when because you want to just have a great vacation. You want to have everything work out perfectly. And so,
Yeah. But everything else was great, honestly. But the flight doesn't matter that much to me.
yeah.
So
Yeah. It's just a way to get there and get back. So that's true. That's true. Okay. So overall, it was a successful trip and you were glad you went?
Definitely.
Good. Good. So I guess just to sum up, I guess your advice would be definitely wear a mask. Definitely don't put it off just because of weather or because you think that, yeah, you think that COVID should slow you down.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah, yeah. Don't be afraid. Just do it if you're wanting to get away and you feel like doing it right now, do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for talking to me today. And I think this has been great. I think it has really, will really help people as they watch and listen to kind of have some of their questions answered and some of their fears maybe taken away. And so I super appreciate you joining me today. So
thank you for all the help you gave us. It was so helpful.
oh, you are welcome. I'm so happy to do it and really happy to help you get there. And I'm proud of you for being so brave because there's so many people that aren't right now, that are so scared and worried that they're not going anywhere. So I think that's awesome that you guys took the chance. And I think it's fabulous that it worked out. So anyway, all right. Well, thanks so much for joining me and we will talk to you later.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, bye everybody.